increases, your face flushes. Every cell in your body screams to defend yourself. However, the person next to you just heard the same insult and didn't even blink. Same words, same situation. Two completely different reactions. What did they know that you didn't? There's a psychological technique used by therapists to deal with toxic people that most of us have never heard of. It's not about being tough. It's not about suppressing your emotions. It's about understanding how conflict actually works and why most of us are playing the game completely wrong. In this video, I'm going to show you why people try to provoke you in the first place, the hidden pattern behind every toxic interaction, and at the end, I'll reveal the exact method that makes you psychologically unbotherable. But first, you need to understand what's really happening when someone attacks you. Here's what nobody tells you about conflict. Most arguments aren't about winning. They're about feeding. Think about the last time someone provoked you. Maybe they made a passive-aggressive comment. Maybe they questioned your intelligence or mocked something you care about. Therefore, you felt that surge of emotion, right? That need to respond, to correct them, to prove your point. That feeling, that's exactly what they wanted. Because here's the truth. Toxic people don't attack you because they hate you. They attack you because they're starving for something they can't create themselves. Emotional energy, validation, a sense of power. When you react, when you engage, when you fight back, you're not standing up for yourself, you're feeding them. Every sharp reply you give, every frustrated explanation, every moment you spend justifying your worth to them is fuel. You think you're defending yourself, however, you're actually giving them exactly what they came for. Your attention, your time, your emotional investment. Like that coworker who raises his voice in meetings knowing you'll defend yourself. But then one day, you stay silent. He freezes mid-sentence. The game ends. Because without your reaction, there's nothing left to play. They throw the same bait over and over because they know you'll bite. A provocative text at midnight. A subtle insult wrapped in a joke. A question designed to make you explain yourself. They don't want answers, they want sparks. But then something interesting happens. You meet someone who doesn't take the bait. Someone who hears the insult and treats it like background noise. Someone who can sit in a room full of passive aggression and remain completely at ease. They're not ignoring the toxicity, they're just refusing to participate in it. What's their secret? They understand something crucial. You cannot win a game you refuse to play. But if reacting isn't the answer, what is? So if reacting only makes things worse, why do we keep doing it? Because we've been taught that silence equals weakness. We've been told that if you don't defend yourself, people will walk all over you. That if you let an insult slide, you're basically agreeing with it. Therefore, we engage. We explain. We argue. We try to make them understand. However, here's the problem. You cannot reason with someone who's emotionally invested in misunderstanding you. Think about it. How many times have you lost your peace just to prove you were right? And how many times did you actually win? In those heated moments, they're not listening to your words. They're feeding off your emotion. The more you explain yourself, the more power you give them. Every justification is another thread they can pull. Every defense is another opening for attack. You think you're standing your ground, but you're actually handing them the map to your vulnerabilities. And here's what makes it worse. The people who provoke you most are often the ones who know you best. They know which buttons to push. They know what you're insecure about. They know exactly how to phrase something to get under your skin. An ex who texts you knowing you'll analyze it for hours. A family member who brings up your failures disguised as concern. These people fish with emotions, not words. They're just searching for something that shakes you because that makes them feel in control. If this is hitting home, like and subscribe because the next part changes everything. So what's the alternative? How do you protect yourself without becoming cold or disconnected? You become strategically uninteresting. This is the part most people get wrong about detachment. They think it means shutting down, building walls, cutting people off. However, that's just another form of reaction. True power isn't in how loudly you can respond or how dramatically you can exit. It's in how little someone's chaos can move you. Be like Wi-Fi. If they can't connect to you, they can't drain your energy. Imagine this. Someone throws an insult your way, expecting a reaction. But instead of defending yourself, instead of arguing back, you respond with something completely neutral. Interesting perspective, or I hear you? Or sometimes just a simple, okay, and nothing more. What just happened? You refused to give them the emotional charge they were seeking. You didn't attack back, so they can't play victim. You didn't defend yourself, so they have nothing to argue against. You became present but unreactive, visible but unengaging. This isn't about being passive. This is about being selective with your energy. Because here's what happens when you stop feeding toxic patterns. They eventually starve. The person who used to get a rise out of you with a single comment now has to work harder. Therefore, they escalate, trying to provoke a bigger reaction. But when that doesn't work either, something shifts. They get bored, they move on. They find someone else who will give them the drama they crave. When you stop reacting to sarcasm or provocation, you realize you've just won back an entire day of peace. You didn't have to fight. You didn't have to explain. You just refused to participate in a game designed to drain you. But how do you actually do this when your emotions are screaming? That's where the method comes in. All right, here's the actual technique. The thing therapists teach their clients when dealing with narcissists, manipulators, or anyone who thrives on emotional chaos. It's called the gray rock method. The concept is simple but powerful. You make yourself as uninteresting and unresponsive as a gray rock. No emotional highs, no defensive lows. Just calm, neutral, almost boring responses. Here's how it works in practice. When someone tries to provoke you, you respond with minimal emotion and information, short answers, neutral tone. No explanations that they can twist, no justifications they can attack. Why are you always like this? I don't know. Don't you have anything to say? Not really. You're just going to ignore me? I'm listening, I just don't have much to add. You're not being rude. You're not being dismissive. You're simply refusing to be the source of drama they're seeking. And here's the beautiful part. This works because it removes the reward they're chasing. However, there's a critical piece people miss. This isn't about suppressing your emotions. It's about choosing where you invest them. You can feel everything, the anger, the frustration, the hurt, but you don't have to perform those feelings for someone who will weaponize them. Real strength isn't reacting fast, it's choosing not to react at all. Save your depth for people who've earned it. Save your vulnerability for relationships that honor it. Save your explanations for those who actually want to understand. Everyone else, they get the gray rock. Drop a comment if you've ever dealt with this kind of drama. I read every single one. When you master this, something profound happens. People are still talking, still trying to provoke you. But then the strange thing is, you don't feel a thing. Their voices fade. And for the first time, you can actually breathe. You stop being controlled by other people's chaos. That coworker who used to ruin your entire day with one comment, now they're just background noise. That family member who could always push your buttons, they're still pushing, but nothing's happening. You're not reacting because you finally realized their opinion of you is not your emergency. Their need for drama is not your responsibility. Their inability to regulate their emotions is not your problem to solve. This is what true peace looks like. Not the absence of conflict, but the presence of choice. You choose what affects you. You choose what deserves your energy. You choose who gets access to your inner world. The most powerful reaction is no reaction. And here's the twist nobody sees coming. When you become unbotherable, you become unstoppable. Because the person who can't be baited into drama, who can't be manipulated through emotion, who refuses to waste energy on pointless battles, that person has an unfair advantage in life. While others are exhausted from arguing, defending, and proving themselves, you're focused on what actually matters. While they're stuck in cycles of reaction, you're building something real. That's the ultimate power move. Not fighting better, but refusing to fight at all. You become the gray rock, solid, unmoved, unaffected, and in your stillness, you find a strength that no argument could ever give you. When you stop playing, the game ends. Their problem isn't you, it's that you stopped feeding them. Next time someone tries to pull you into chaos, remember, you don't owe anyone a reaction. Stay solid, stay still, be the gray rock. And if this message shifted something in you, hit subscribe. Make calm your default.